What are you saying, my fellow Saiyans? This is Gohan Solo back at it again, and picking up from where we left off last time. Did a top 5 leaders video. Now gonna do top 5 super rares. A bit tougher as there are more of them. There's 14, and they're all really good for the most part. Like there are a couple that are average, but really most of them are at worst the good cards, and at best absolutely crazy game-changing cards. So go through all of them quickly now, then go into the top 5. So first one is Victorious Fist Super Saiyan 3 Son Goku. You can EX evolve it by paying 1 red, then pitching 1 card from your hand, then evolve it on top of a red Son Goku GT with an energy cost of 5 or more. Then it has double strike, and it basically has dual attack, but each time it stands, it gains plus 5,000 as well. So it's dual attack, but you'll just get plus 5k as well. So pretty good. Actually, yeah, it's not quite the same as that. It's when it attacks, it gains plus 5k. So you'll attack, gain 5k, stand, attack again, gain another 5k. So it's just a bit better than dual attack. This is sort of just like the top end for the Son Goku GT EX Evolve Evolution themed decks. So very good card there. Then we've got Fearless Pan. So this is a 3-drop, 2 red, costs costs 3. It's got 15 attack, block a barrier, and when you play this card, choose all of your other red leader cards and red battle cards. They gain plus 5k and double strike for the duration of the turn. Very, very good. Obviously meant to work within the GT red aggro-y decks that they're pushing this set, but it works with with a wide number of decks. Really, really good. This is one of, I'd say there are 2 cards that people are talking about being the best supers in the set, and this is one of them. So we'll see if my list which one comes out on top, but Fearless Pan is certainly one of the more desirable supers from this set. Then there's Meta Rildo Form Perfected, so 7 mana, you can EX evolve it in for 1 red and pitching a card from your hand, and evolving it on top of a red General Rildo with an energy cost of 5 or more. It's got double strike, activate main once per turn, place 1 planet M2 from your hand or field in the drop area, you draw 2. Then choose your opponent's leader card, it loses 5k for the duration of the turn. Then all of your opponent's battle cards lose 1,000 for the duration of the turn. And if any of those battle cards go to 0 attack or less, then they're KO'd. So this is a it's a very good card. The only question is like how good the archetype itself will be, and regardless of how good this archetype is gonna be, it's not one that people are really gonna pick up. Like people will be opening boxes, packs of this set. They'll pull the stuff that they want. This will constitute the stuff that they don't want. So I think that Machine Mutants will be cheap. They'll be a deck that really anyone can pick up. So it's worth keeping an eye out. People will be pulling this. I don't know how much they'd be in like UK locals, because cards are a bit scarcer in the UK in general, but certainly in the US I imagine people will be pulling this and just handing them out, basically, like selling them for $1 or 2, like so it'd be pretty easy to build the Machine Mutant deck. Just something to keep an eye out for, but it's a good card. We've got Ultra Instinct Sign Goku, one of the hype cards of the set for sure. It's the blue hype card, definitely out of the supers. So you EX evolve it, paying 2 blue, pitch a card from your hand, evolve it on top of a blue Son Goku with an energy cost of 5 or more. It's got triple strike, permanent. Your opponent can't combo for the duration of this card's battle. And when a card evolves into this card, return all of your opponent's battle cards to their owner's hand. Very, very strong finisher. There's the Dash Pack Goku that costs 5, would cost 3 to evolve in, so you can potentially play this, you know, like turn 4, turn 3 even in some situations. So, you know, this card is strong. This card is really, really strong, and we'll no doubt see play because blue is good and Goku stuff is good. So yeah. Then you've got a very similar card, to be honest, the Ultimate Evil Majin Buu. So you EX evolve this in by paying 1 blue, so 1 less than UI Goku, but you have to pitch an extra card. You pitch 2 cards instead of 1. You put it on top of a Majin Buu with an energy cost of 5 or more. It's got a triple strike, then when a card evolves into this card, switch its card to active mode, and it gains plus 30,000 power for the duration of the turn. So, pretty much similar. I mean, like, this says literally you can't combo. This doesn't literally say you can't combo, but it's a 60,000 base, so it's going to be very difficult to combo out of this card's attack. Plus, you can attack with the thing that you're evolving this from before evolving into it, which is a pretty sweet deal. You can't with this one. I mean, depends on what you evolve this on top of. Like, if you evolve it on top of the 5 mana Goku that you can evolve into for 4, that gets dual attack for that turn, maybe you can play around in a cool way. But this just straight up, you know, you can do the Boo stuff that is already the case from set 2. So what is it, Grand Absorption Majin Buu, the one that'll copy the effects of whatever Sun Gohan Adolescence is underneath it. You copy the Ultimate Miracle Comeback Sun Gohan, whatever it's called, attack their creatures, dealing damage to them. I'm pretty sure that is like triple attack or something like that. Anyways, this just gives another top end to those Majin Buu decks. As to how playable it will be remains to be seen. It is very much contained within the Majin Buu archetype, so it's not like a generic thing that you can just play, but certainly a very good top end in those decks. Then you've got Hyper Rush Super Saiyan Blue Vegito. This is a green Vegito, cost 7. It's got 25,000 power. You can Union Patara it in for 5. It's got triple strike, and when you play this card, if your leader card is Vegito, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards and up to one of the cards in your opponent's hand and place them in the drop area, then draw 2 cards. Then you may choose up to 2 cards in your life and add them to your hand. This card is so good, so good. It's such a good top end. Like, I really like it. Just because it's relevant support for those Vegito decks. The fact that you can get this off the what is it, like lightning speed Vegito or something. The 5-drop Vegito that costs 3 to Patara in, where you look at the top 10 and play a Vegito with 2500 attack on top of that Vegito. So you can potentially be, you know, getting this on turn 3, which is insane. This is really good. It's just a really good buff to Vegito decks, which is nice because I think Vegito is really cool. This basically replaces the current 2500 attack 7-drop super rare Vegito from from Union Force. So the one that's out at the moment, I can't remember what it's called, but it's got 25,000 power as well. It's got triple strike as well. It's probably got Union Patara for 5 as well. And its effect is like it gains plus 5k for every Goku and Vegeta in your grave or something like that. So that's like, before you'd be running more of those because that's your main finisher. I think now you'd just run more of this in any Vegito deck because this has the triple strike still, but its effect is just obviously better for most of the game. And then you'd have a one-off of that, I guess, ramp Vegito, we'll call it, the one that gets plus 5k for every Goku and Vegeta in your drop. You just run one of them, maybe just to go into to you know, simulate this really. Just drop a like a 60,000 body in an attack. But this is really, really good. Really, really good. So I like that. Then Ending Destruction, Android 13. Double Strike, when you play this card, your opponent chooses one of their battle cards and KOs it. And when one of your opponent's battle cards is placed in the drop area from any area by any of your skills other than this one, your opponent chooses one card from their hand and places it in the drop area. So this one is going to be a rulings minefield. Because firstly, like, the way that this is worded, it's worded in such a way that you would expect it to get around barrier, just because in most card games, like, barrier is equivalent to hexproof. It's like, oh, well, this card can't be targeted by your opponent's card effects. So then the way this is worded is like, oh, well, your opponent's choosing it, so it gets past it. But I think the way that it's ruled in the game as of right now is that this doesn't get around barrier. So we'll have to wait and see on that. And this one is remains to be seen as far as rulings go as well, because let's say they discard two cards from your one effect. There's that sell spell that makes the opponent pitch two, right? So let's say you activate one of them and you have this up. Cell absorption, that's it. You activate cell absorption and you have this up. Do they pitch just one because it was one instance where they discarded, or do they discard two additional cards because they discarded because one of their battle cards was placed in the drop area twice? Remains to be seen. So that'll be interesting to see. But I mean, this card, I think the thing is like, it's a solid card, but it's quite underpowered compared to the rest of the supers in the set. I don't know what the Android 13 stuff is saying, so if this is something that you can make pretty early, then it could be good, but otherwise, like, this doesn't have an EX evolve on it or anything like that, so it's a bit more difficult. Then you've got Unstoppable Ambition Super Saiyan Cauliflower. So cost 2 green, 20k body. Your battle cards can't be KO'd by your own skills. Your battle cards can't be placed in the drop area by your own skills. And when you play this card, choose one card from your life and add it to your hand. So good. Yeah, just really, really good card. Short and sweet. Then we got Desperate Warriors Super Saiyan Bardock. They just can't make the yellow 7 drops as good as the other decks. They just have to always make them some some gimmicky. I mean, this is really good in some ways, but also not really good in a couple ways. So yeah, it costs 7. You EX evolve it for no mana, which is a really good thing. You only have to pitch 2 cards from your hand. Evolve it on top of a yellow Bardock with an energy cost of 5 or more. So for the rest of its effect, if your opponent has 6 or more energy in rest mode, this card gains plus 5k in triple strike. You're thinking, okay, that's like alright, I guess. Then when a card evolves into this card, choose all of your opponent's battle cards and energy and switch them to rest mode. So, oh, okay, that's really good. You know, like, if assuming they have 6 energy anyway, because the opponent might be playing aggro or just a deck that, you know, only needs 5 energy or something like that. You know, they might not go up to 6 energy, but let's say they are, to make this card as good as possible. Then yeah, if you evolve into this, you've pretty much won that turn, right? Like, that's an insane value swing, unless they have, you know, like, their awaken, and their awaken is untapped too. But are you gonna evolve into this? Well, probably not, because as of right now, there are only 2 things that you can evolve this onto. Well, you can evolve this from, not including itself. But why would you include itself? Unless you're playing a deck where, you know, the combo is to draw 2 of this and then hardcast 1 for 7 and then evolve this on top of the other. But Probably not. Now, having said that, one of the things that you can evolve this off is a 6-drop Grey Ape Bardock, which also EX evolves on top of a yellow Bardock that costs 5 or more by pitching 2 from your hand. So that's not exactly... Well, it suffers from the same problem in terms of needing a yellow Bardock with an energy cost of 5 or more. The only other one is just a yellow Bardock. It's a 5-drop. It's got dual attack, and when you play it, if your leader's a Saiyan, look at the top 3 cards of your deck and add 1, which is good, but it's underwhelming compared to the rest of the game, really, and what people will be playing on turn 5. So this card it's like it's very potent in certain situations, but it isn't really happening, which is unfortunate because I think they could have made it a bit better, to be honest. Like, you could have made this 5 if your opponent has 5 or more energy. You could have made this evolve it on top of a yellow Bardock with energy cost 4 or more, because there's a Grey Ape promo Bardock, and then, you know, would have actually made that card really good. But whatever. Then there's this Explosive Spirit Son Goku, block a barrier, 10k attack, cost 3, 2 yellow. When you play this card, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards in rest mode and KO that card. So good. And at the end of your turn, switch this card to active mode. So this is the other one, along with Fearless Pan, that people are sort of hyping up as being the best super of the set. And it's difficult to argue, to be honest. This card is insane. Yeah, so there's the yellow super combo. There's a new yellow super combo where your leader just has to be yellow, so you can use it with like Mecha Frieza or Golden Frieza and any of that. Instead of drawing a card like the super combos normally do, you get to play a Saiyan from your hand that costs 3 or less. So let's say the opponent attacks, you know, no counters, they combo whatever they want to combo, you go to your combo, you super combo, play this, then this auto triggers, pops the attacker, the attack fizzles, and I assume that all the stuff that's in their combo area that they might have comboed before just goes to the grave. So insane sort of defensive setup offered by this card to yellow now. Very good. So that's the main reason why this card is good. But yeah. Then the black supers, we got SS3 Bardock Power Unleashed. So you Xeno evolve it for 5 on top of a Bardock Xeno, and play this card in active mode by sending a specified card from your battle area to your warp. Yeah, so it's got a triple strike, and when a card evolves into this card, if your leader card is black, you may choose 5 cards from your warp and place them in the drop area, and if you do so, send all of your opponent's battle cards to their warp. So this is an insane effect, and triple strike makes it insane, and the fact that you're playing it turn 5, like, this is obviously an insane amount of power to play on turn 5. So in terms of the card design, the card itself is really strong. The only problem with it is that as of, you know, our current card pool, there's only one other card that you can evolve this on top of, because again, you can evolve this on top of itself, but the other one is just it's Overrealm 4. I think it might cost 2 mana to play as well, but don't hold me to that. It's a 20k that if you played it with Overrealm, it gains double strike for that turn. So just a very average card that you'd be playing this on top of. Now they'll probably make more Bardock Xenos down the line. This card will obviously improve. So again, like with Rildo, I'll say this is one that, you know, it'll get devalued in the initial stages of people pulling it and stuff, because you can't really use this. Like, it looks cool, but you can't really use it. So if you can, you know, pick them up on the cheap, then it'd probably be wise to do so. Then there's this one, Trunks Power Overseeing Time. Overrealm 4 costs 2. Double Strike, when you play this card using Overrealm, choose up to one battle card in your warp and add it to your hand. Absolutely insane. Don't have to say much more about that. That card is so good. Then Dimension Breaker Mirror. This card I think is quite understated. So you Xeno evolve it for 5 on top of a mirror. It's got Double Strike, and when a card evolves into this card, if you have 5 or more cards in your warp, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards and send it to their warp. Then if you have 10 or more cards in your warp, choose up to one of your opponent's energy and send it to their warp. Really, really good. Like the fact that you get to pick off an energy, it's really an understated effect. Like it'll come up clutch in certain situations, particularly if you're playing against decks that are you know, like at least 2 colors, and as such the way that they play their mana is quite delicate. Maybe, you know, like taking that one blue energy for them ends up really screwing them over in terms of their mana base. It's pretty good. Plus, you know, if you're playing this like turn 5 and you're getting the energy removal effect, absolutely insane. Like there are a lot of good mirrors as well, which is sort of what separates this from the SSJ3 Bardock, is that there are actually good mirrors that you can evolve this on top of. So this card's really good. I'd say it's another one. You know, don't sleep on it. It's an Android as well, so it's searchable. Like this card, I reckon is definitely gonna come up. If you're playing mirrors anyway, and there are good mirrors that you'll be playing anyway. There's the crit one, and there's the one that pitches a card from the opponent's hand. They'll all be played anyway. So this just gives that a good top end. You know, you get that Beerus ability and a mana KO ability. Strong. And then finally there's Fu Shrouded in Mystery. So this is a 30k. Overrealm 10. Then you pay 6 to play it. So you banish your whole grave. You need at least 10 in your grave to do that. And then it costs 6. It's got Double Strike, and when you play this card using Overrealm, your opponent can't activate skills on cards other than their leader card until the beginning of your next turn. So very, very strong finisher there. So yeah, we'll get into that top 5, starting with the guy who we just talked about, Fu Shrouded in Mystery. This card is really, really good, and again, I think it's one that people will initially be pulling and just sort of chuck into the wayside. They might not see its value immediately, but the card is insane. Like anyone who's played Yu-Gi-Oh, you'll know how powerful effects like Cold Wave are, like these sort of stunny effects that prevent you from being able to do anything that turn. That's exactly what this does, and it's like a finisher built into that. So like any deck can play it, really, and by any deck I mean the decks that would traditionally have been about ramp and accelerating your mana base, that type of thing. They can be built around this, and this gives them a secure sort of victory condition, because really you just have to stay alive until the turn where you play this, and then the turn where you play this. Like what can they do? They can't well, we'll have to wait for some rulings, I guess. Like this doesn't stop continuous effect, so it wouldn't stop things like Double Strike or Triple Strike or Critical or Barrier. Remains to be seen exactly what gets past it, I guess. Pretty sure, you know, you can like you can Cold Bloodlust this as well. That would be pretty peak. Imagine playing this just to get Cold Bloodlusted. But you know, like it stops everything. It just means that your pushes are gonna go through that turn. So you should win the game that turn, the turn that you play this. Even if you don't, they can't do a whole lot on their own turn. Because the stun happens until the beginning of your next turn. So this card, I think it'll come up, maybe in some gimmicky ways, but I'm pretty sure just because of the way this card is designed that people will be experimenting, trying to make it work, and it will. Someone will find that good home for this. It's strong. It's strong, to be honest. Like just the fact that they can't use any of their key combo cards. Like it stuns out their super combos. It would stun out you know, like the the aforementioned Goku defensive play where you super combo into the Kid Goku. Stops that. Stops everything, pretty much. So I just don't know if it stops barrier at this point. I don't know if not barrier, blocker. I don't know if blocker activates, but even so, very very strong finisher in a set that does have a lot of very strong finishers, and well, Fu is my pick because I think he'll be quite underrated. Then at number 4, we've got your girl Kale. This card doesn't need much discussion, to be honest. It's exactly what it says on the tin. You've got a promo Kaba that supports this in Kale. So there's a 2-drop Kaba. It reduces the cost of Kales and Cauliflas by 1. Pretty sure it stacks 2 from the way it's worded. We'll have to wait for it to be seen. So when you play that Kaba, you look at the top 10, add a Caulifla or Kale, and if you add a Caulifla, you can just play it. So that, those 12 cards make a very concise little green engine. Actually, it might not be 12, because the thing with this is, like, when you play this card, choose one card from your life and add it to your hand, you have to do it. It isn't up to 1. So you're not always going to be playing this, but that doesn't mean that you won't run 4 of it necessarily, because you can just charge the ones that aren't optimal for you to play then. Even so, 2 mana 20k is really good anyway. The fact that it synergizes with the Broly stuff and KO ultimately by protecting your cards from being KO'd by your own skills, it's really good. And the fact that it can help you to self-awaken is really good as well. So this card is maybe relatively understated compared to the bombs that are in this set, but I don't think anyone is thinking that this card is underpowered. I think this is one of the more hyped cards of the set. And then at number 3, I've got your boy, Explosive Spirit, Son Goku. Again, not too much that's needed to be said about this. This works with the new super combo, so it just provides yellow with unparalleled defensive fortitude. Really, like that combo is in itself so strong defensively, and yellow's already the color that has Crushable and Cold Bloodlust, because so Shigesh is the name of the super combo. The fact that Shigesh doesn't have to be for like a Saiyan leader, it can just be any yellow leader, means that you can have these really defensive yellow decks that will have Mecha Frieza as their leader probably. You've got Cold Bloodlust, you've got Crushable, you've got this, you've got Shigesh. Then the rest of the deck is really however you see fit to build it. But this, I mean, this card is just so good. Really really good. Not much to say. It sort of revitalizes yellow, really. So try and pull this if you can. Try and pull an SPR one. Number 2, we've got a Fearless Pan. So again, there's not much that needs to be said about this, really. So there's a promo Super Saiyan 3 Goku that ramps up all your stuff. That was already a pretty good card. This does that, but better. It gives your stuff double strike. Absolutely insane. Like this card is sort of like the tip of the iceberg, really. Is that what you say? It's the pivotal component to to the aggro wide GT red deck that they seem to be pushing, and I mean it just goes with everything. No matter how you build that deck, if you build it more around the Goku GT evolution line, this is pivotal towards that because you need to raise your power in order to get the effects. If you're just playing, you know, aggro red, where you're just going wide and trying to attack, this helps with that. If you're playing a more mid-rangey build with like Jirens and Toppo, stuff like that, this helps with that. It just does absolutely everything. Plus with both of these, they have blocker and barrier as well. Like this switching to active at the end of the turn is pretty good, but like they both of them, they're just so good. Like they're battle cards with extras effects, and they know that as well. Like this is the type of thing that could have been, you know, a 3-mana extra, like ramp up your leader and all your things by plus 5k and double strike, but they put it on a body, which inherently makes it much better. This card is insane. Again, try and pull them. Just will the pack gods to give you this or this over you know, like Rildo or anything like that. Now you'd have expected one of these two to be number one probably. My leader top fives wasn't having any surprises. This will have a surprise for most because I think most would have put Fearless Pan as their number one and Goku as their number two and Caulifla as their number three. My number three is is this Trunks. Ah, this Trunks is so good. This Trunks is actually so good. And I can understand not recognizing this card being really good, but it is like this card is sick. So Overrealm a 4, it costs 2. Then it gets double strike, and when you play it, you choose up to 1 battle card in your warp and add it to your hand. So essentially, you're paying 2 mana, you're getting a 20k double strike, and getting to add one of your banished cards to your hand. So strong. Like the fact it's just anything. It's incredible, and it suits all kinds of decks. So this will suit like aggro. You know, let's say you used the combo piece that you want. You know, like you used an unyielding spirit. You know, play this. You'll have banished the unyielding spirit in order to play this. Get it back. Like swing. It's just so much good stuff that you can do with this. You can it's I don't want to say it's an upgrade on Time Patrol Trunks, because Time Patrol, obviously, it doesn't cost anything, which makes it a different card. But this is really good in addition to that. Like, having 4 Time Patrol Trunks, and then 4 of this, 3 or 4 of this, in a deck, just gives you loads of advantage, loads of recursion. You can play this in anything. It's going to add any of the things that you banish to summon it back to your hand. It just turns your warp into a toolbox, which the black leaders do. Mirror and Trunks can add something from your warp to your hand. Like that's already pretty good. Like this is just great. This is just great. I mean, it's a 2 mana 20k double strike. That's already pretty good. But then you're getting to add one of the things that you banished for it back to your hand as well. And like the reason why I have this as first, to be honest, is because like I think that this is, well, to be honest, I haven't seen like a whole load of discussion, so I don't know, maybe people are already hyped on this card. Maybe people already think that this is the nuts. It does depend. Like we're quite spoiled in terms of the Overrealm cards. A lot of them are already good. You have this, you have Marseille, the Masked Saiyans actually, because there's several good Masked Saiyans. There's a lot of really good Overrealm stuff, but that's sort of what makes it good as well, because like if you're playing a deck with loads of Overrealm, you're going to be banishing all your stuff. The fact that this adds something means that it will always be good. It will be good in the earlier stages of the game. It will be good in the later stages of the game. Like if they kill something you can get it back with this. This is like, it's like monster reincarnation for those Yu-Gi-Oh players. I know that that's not an amazing card, but just the fact that you can essentially recur your grave through this, because you're going to be banishing them. They're going to go to your Whoop eventually. Then every time you play this using Overrealm, you're going to get it back. It's good stuff. This, like, I mean, this card is understated compared to the rest of them. It doesn't it doesn't reinvigorate a color like these two do, or like make whole decks in and of themselves, but it's just very solid, and you know, remains to be seen. Like there's a lot of stuff that works in this card's favor, but personally I think that well, it's my pick for best super in the set. There are some good supers in this set. You've got Phyllis Pan, you've got Goku, but I think that this Trunks is where it's at. So yeah, I mean, again, lots of good supers in this set. Feel free to comment with what your top 5 would be. No doubt, Goku fanboys were getting that good lead along, thinking I was holding out for the Ultra Instinct Science on Goku. Nah, UI Son Goku was not was not my number one. Trunks fanboy's gonna be happy though. This card is sick. So yeah, like, comment, subscribe, whatever, and catch you later.